Hey guys, Susie here. Thanks so much for tuning in today. As you can see, I'm wearing my glasses today. I've actually been wearing them all day. I wore them to work. It's allergy season, really bad around here. It has been for a while. And last night my eyes were burning so bad. Oh my gosh, they were like on fire. I just kept rubbing them and rubbing them. And so I was like, you know what, I'm not going to wear my contact lenses tomorrow. So I've been wearing my eyeglasses all day today, and I'm really not a fan of wearing eyeglasses just because I'm so used to wearing contact lenses. I've been wearing contact lenses since I was like 13. Never really worn glasses. I actually didn't even start wearing glasses till maybe a few years ago. I actually just went ahead and got a pair, and just to wear like when I didn't wear my contact lenses. So anyways, that's that. So as you can see, I also just got home from work and I'm still wearing my scrubs and everything, but today's video is going to be something a little bit different here on my channel. And I know you guys have probably seen other people do these before, story time videos. So a story time video is basically a video where you just kind of talk about a particular event or story in your life, something that happened that was like crazy or wild or just a really wild time. And I have many story times that I can tell, but this one is a little bit tame, and it's just basically kind of telling you guys about my very first boyfriend and my first actual breakup. And I know we all remember that first guy that we ever dated, and he was such a jerk, and you know, or most of the time they were a jerk. And, you know, we broke up and it was like the end of the world for us or whatever, at least for me it was. And so today I'm sharing with you guys my story of my very first boyfriend, how we met, why we broke up, just kind of a little bit of information about him and some things that you guys are probably gonna just laugh out loud about because I can't even believe that they happened. So let's get started. I probably had my first boyfriend, like my first, what I consider like my real boyfriend, like somebody that I actually like went out someplace with, or, you know, just went out with, you know, because you have like pretend boyfriends when you're like a little, you know, like 10, 11-year-old. You're like, oh, he's my boyfriend. Like, he's not really your boyfriend, but you're just calling him your boyfriend. And then, like, you know, maybe when you're 13, you have like another pretend boyfriend. But then you actually have like your first real boyfriend. And my first real boyfriend was probably like, I don't know exactly what age it was, but I'm pretty sure I was probably in like 8th grade. So I'm gonna say 8th grade is probably when I knew him. And I actually met him online, which is kind of scary a little bit to think about. I know a lot of people who have kids right now are worried about their kids meeting people online, and for good reason. Luckily, this was kind of before there was a lot of people being creeps on the internet, and I actually met him on a really weird website, and I don't even know why I was on this website. But there used to be a website called Spark Notes, and it was kind of a place where you could go and like, I don't know, like I think it was like book reviews or something, or like it was like supposed to help you study or something like that. I don't know, it was something about like studying. They would actually come out with books. They were called Spark Notes books. And it would like give you like a summarized version of like a book or something that you could use like when you were, you know, studying. You had to write a book report, and it was kind of a condensed, you know, version or whatever. And Spark Notes had another website called Spark Match, and it was kind of like a personal site, I guess, like kind of, I don't know, it was like a really geeky personal site. And so I don't know like why I even made a profile on there. I remember like getting on AOL, like going in the chat room when I was a teenager. That was like a big thing to do. Like that was a thing to do. Like go home from school, finish your homework, and then, you know, use that dial-up. And sometimes you couldn't even get on because like so many people in your area were on or something. You'd go in the chat room, you'd like type all night long, and yeah, it was just like that probably sounds really lame to like younger people now, but that's really what we did for fun. So yeah, I used to do that all the time, so I guess I just was like, I want to meet me a boyfriend, so I'm gonna just type this in on here. So I think I like made a profile. I don't think I had a picture or anything on there or nothing like that. And you know, I just made a little profile, and this guy ended up like writing me a message, and he was like, hey, you're really cute, I also live, you know, in this and this city, you know, I go to this and this school, and I saw that you go here, and, you know, I thought like maybe we could like talk some more or whatever. So we kind of messaged back and forth a little bit like on there, nothing like gross or weird. We were just like talking like, oh, you know, so have you ever had a girlfriend before, you know, blah, blah, blah. And so we decided that we were going to try to meet up because we'd been kind of talking for a little while, like maybe like a few weeks, which seemed like an eternity to me, I'm sure. And we decided to meet up at the movie theater that I used to live next to. I actually used to live like behind a movie theater. And so I said, well, why don't we meet up over there and we'll like see a movie or something like that. So we ended up meeting up at this movie theater, and I like dressed up real cute, you know, I thought I was looking really cute, and I walked up to this movie theater to meet him there, and I was like, okay, you know, this is really kind of creepy, like, I don't know what he looks like, how am I going to know who he is, like, I don't even know what he looks like, I've never seen his picture before. I don't think he sent me a picture or anything. I don't think we sent any pictures back and forth. And I was like, well, how am I going to know if it's him? And so I was just kind of wandering around outside the movie theater, and I saw this guy who was like decent, like he was okay. And he was wandering around like kind of outside the movie theater. It looked like he was waiting on somebody. So finally, we kind of saw each other, and I kind of like looked at him, he looked at me, and so he came over and he was like, are you Susie? And I'm like, yes. Are you so-and-so? He's like, yeah, I am. So we were like, okay. And so I think we both kind of felt the same about it. We were both kind of like, you know, a little bit like, you know, are we getting catfished right now? Even though catfish wasn't around then. But, you know what I mean? Like, we were like, I don't know, like, maybe they're not going to look like what they were saying they look like. Because I think he asked me what I look like, and I told him. He kind of told me. And he wasn't, like, terribly bad looking. He was, like, you know, like an average size guy. Brown hair. Lot bigger than me. Just, you know, he was okay. He was definitely not really what I was expecting, but he was okay. And so we kind of talked for a little while. I think we saw a movie or something like that. And then we switched numbers, like telephone numbers. And, you know, I was like, well, call me sometime. And he gave me his. And that was kind of it. So we ended up talking on the phone a little bit. I think we were probably like together for maybe like, I don't know, a month, maybe. I don't even know if you would call it together. We only went on that one little date, and then like, I don't know, we were talking on the phone, and I think one time he was like, well, why don't you come over to my house and we'll like hang out or something, play video games or whatever. And so I did, you know, I was like, oh, pick me up over here, and I don't think I told my mom where I was going, which is probably not a good thing. It's probably a bad thing, but anyways, so he came, I think, with his mom or something like that. They came and picked me up, and we went over there, and we just kind of hung out for like maybe an hour or something like that. And, you know, nothing really happened. I think we might have like had like a first kiss type thing, which was like very, like now when I think about it. And then I think I went back home and we talked on the phone some more. And I think we went one other place together. I think he had like a school dance or something. And I do think I told my mom this, that he, that we, you know, we were friends, and that he was having like a dance at his school and he wanted me to be his date. And I was like, okay, sure. So I remember like, I think I wore something kind of nice, and we went to his high school. And because he was in high school, we went to his school dance or whatever. He introduced me to like some people that were his friends or whatever, and it was fun. Like, it was a good time. I mean, he was kind of fun to like talk to, but I don't know. So then we ended up, I think, going back over to his house before he dropped me, or, well, not he dropped me, but his mom dropped me off. And first we went back over to his house, and this is where it got kind of weird. Because I think we were just like, maybe like having a kiss or something like that, and just kind of talking, maybe like, you know, like, not really fooling around, but just like having a kiss and, you know, maybe like sitting by each other, and I'm sure he maybe like touched my leg or something, you know, something really innocent like that, because, you know, I wasn't like doing anything with anybody at that point in my life or anything. And so I remember that we were doing all that, and then I looked down and there was this big wet spot on his pants, like right on the crotch. And I was like, okay, what happened, like, on, you know, what is that? And he was just like, didn't really know what to say, and he's like, I think I just got, like, excited. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I was like extremely grossed out by that. The fact that he just pretty much like did that on himself. And yeah, like we weren't even doing anything. So I'm sure it was very awkward for him, but it was way more awkward for me. And so after that, I think I was like grossed out, but I was willing to kind of still talk to him, even though I felt pretty grossed out about it. And I remember, like, I think maybe we talked one more time on the phone after that, and then all of a sudden, he comes out with this whole spiel, like, oh, sorry, I can't talk to you anymore, I don't think that we're gonna work out. And I think, you know, he told me that, and it made me cry. Like, it really hurt my feelings, because here I was, you know, we'd been talking for like a month. That's a pretty long time for someone when you're in 8th grade. You know, it may have been a couple months. I don't know. It could have been like 1 to 2 months. And, you know, he was my first like actual boyfriend. So I was kind of like disappointed, a little sad, and made me cry. And I remember going over to one of my friend's houses who lived down the street, and I told her all about it, you know, because she knew him. I don't know how. I think maybe like I let her talk to him on the phone one time. And so she was like, well, I'm going to call him and I'm going to find out, you know, why he's trying to break up with you. Like, what is this thing? You know, what is his deal? So she called him, and I think, you know, she told him, like, you're being a really big jerk. Like, she didn't even do anything to you, blah, blah, blah. But he just wasn't having it. And so that was basically it. Like, then it was over. Like, he just decided he just didn't want to talk to me no more, even though he's the one that made an accident on himself. But anywho, so I was like, okay, well, cool, whatever. And I was really upset about it for like maybe, I don't know, a couple weeks. I was probably like a tiny bit upset about it. Just like, I don't know, like he really kind of hurt my feelings, because I thought that we kind of really had something going on. And I don't know, maybe just because I was young, I thought like, oh, this guy's gonna like stick around with me, you know, we're gonna like be really close, maybe like we'll, you know, like be together all through high school or something. I don't know, like I always have these unrealistic expectations of relationships a lot of the times, and I'm so glad that I'm like married and I've been with the same person for like 14 years, because obviously, all the jerks that I talked to before my husband were meant to be out of my life, because he came in my life and we've been together since I was 18 years old. So it's a very long time, like really long time. And I'm like in my 30s now. So anywho, it's a good thing he didn't work out. And, you know, to this day, like, I'm not really upset about it. If I ever saw him out anywhere, I honestly probably wouldn't know. Like, I probably wouldn't remember. Like, I remember what he looks like, but he probably doesn't look the same, so I'm sure I wouldn't recognize him. And I'm not really sure he would recognize me either, because we were in, like, you know, 8th and 9th grade, so I'm sure we wouldn't know what each other looked like. But it's just the fact that, you know, every time I think about him, I think of him as like the guy that had an accident on himself, and it's not a very good way to be remembered, you know. And I'm sure that happens to guys. Like, I'm sure he was like very inexperienced. He was probably a virgin, and you know, and that's cool. Like, I was too, but I just, you know, I don't know. I've never seen a guy do that ever, like another guy ever. So it was very weird for me, but what's in the past is in the past. So yeah, that's basically my first boyfriend. Our little short 1 to 2 month maybe relationship. I did have fun when we went to, like, you know, to that school dance, and when we would talk, like, he liked a lot of really cool bands and stuff. We liked a lot of the same music, so he was really a cool person to talk to. But honestly, I just don't know what I was thinking. I really don't. I don't know what I was thinking. And I don't even know why I even went to meet him. Just don't know. But anywho, I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. If you did, please leave me some comments down below and give me a thumbs up. And let me know if you want to hear more story time videos. I would love to do some more for you guys. I have so many different stories. Or if there's something particular you want to hear about, just leave me a comment down below. And I've got to go, guys. I've got to make something to eat. My husband is going to be home soon. He's going to want some food. So I shall see you guys in my next video. Hope you guys have a great day or night or whatever it is where you are in your end of the globe. And I'll see you guys later. Don't forget to subscribe.